Hello, my name is Jim Newell. I'm the deputy leader of the Rejoin EU Party. And today I wanted to talk about the London Assembly elections that are being held on the 2nd of May. Specifically, I want to appeal to those of you who are both pro-EU and on the left in politics, because I want to make the case as to why you in particular, if you are pro-EU and on the left, why you should vote tactically for us. The reason is essentially because in the election you'll get two votes, one for a constituency member and a second vote to be cast for additional member seats, with these votes, or these seats I should say, being distributed proportionally. So if you vote for the Labour Party for your constituency member, and you want to reduce to a minimum the chances of the Tories winning additional member seats, then the question is, how should you use a second vote? Now, though it will sound counterintuitive, you're more likely to reduce to a minimum the chances of the Tories winning additional member seats if, instead of voting for the Labour Party using your second vote, you give it to another party such as the Lib Dems, the Greens, or ideally for the Rejoin EU Party. Now, to show you why this is the case, I need to explain how the electoral system for the London Assembly works. So the system is known as the additional member system, and it's also used for elections to the Scottish and the Welsh parliaments. Now, in the case of the London Assembly, there are a total of 25 members, which I will attempt to show you by bringing up the relevant screen, if I can manage that. I'm not very good at this technology. So there is the slides. Share. Okay, there we are. So as I say, there are 25 seats in total. 14 are elected with the voters' constituency vote on the basis of the familiar first past the post system. And the remaining 11 seats are elected from a single London-wide constituency. In this constituency, parties present lists of up to 11 candidates. The voter chooses the party that he or she wants to vote for. And then when all the votes have been cast, the seats are distributed proportionally among the parties taking part in the election according to the number of votes they've received. The Rejoin EU Party is fielding 11 candidates for these London-wide seats. Now, if you have a look at the results of the 2021 London Assembly elections, you can see the effect of the electoral system on the distribution of seats. So in the constituency ballot, we see that the Labour Party won the most votes and got 9 seats. The Conservatives came second and won 5 seats, with none of the other parties getting any seats whatsoever. This is the familiar effect of the first past the post system. Although the Liberal Democrats and the Greens won relatively sizable shares of the votes, they got no seats because their votes were spread across the 14 constituencies rather than being concentrated in any of them. So consequently, there were no constituencies in which they had a sufficiently large number of votes to end up in first place. therefore they got no seats, and this is the familiar first past the post system that's used for Westminster elections. If we now consider voters' second votes cast in the London-wide ballot, because these votes are cast for the 11 seats that are distributed proportionally, we can see that in this case, the smaller parties like the Greens, like the Liberal Democrats, are able to win seats. So the first point is that if you vote for the Rejoin EU Party using your second vote, it won't be wasted. The argument that voting for a small party is a wasted vote simply doesn't apply when it comes to seats that are distributed proportionally rather than by the first past the post system. But now here's the thing. If you vote for a small party in this second London-wide ballot, you're much more likely to prevent the Tories picking up additional member seats than if you vote for the Labour Party. To see why that's the case, we have to understand how the system works. In other words, we have to understand the formula that's used to distribute these additional member seats. Now, in essence, these seats are distributed according to the d'Hondt system, so-called after the Belgian mathematician Victor d'Hondt, who came up with the idea in 1878. So this is how it was applied to the votes cast in the London Assembly election of 2021. On the top row, we can see the number of votes cast for each party. And then on the second row, we can see the number of seats won by each party on the basis of the constituency ballot. Yeah, 9 for the Labour Party, 5 for the Conservatives. Now, the first step in allocating these additional member seats is to divide each party's vote totals by the number of constituency seats they've already won plus 1. Okay, let me repeat that. The first step in allocating the additional member seats is to divide each party's vote total by the number of constituency seats they have already won plus 1. Okay, so the Labour Party's vote is divided by 10, Conservative Party's vote is divided by 6, and the Liberal Democrats and the Greens, who won no constituency seats, have their vote totals divided by just 1. Once we've done that, we then proceed to the allocation of the first seat. So what do? We look at the party's vote totals after they've been divided. We see which party has the most votes. We give the first vote to that party. We then divide their vote by 1 plus the number of seats they've already won, and we proceed to allocate the second seat. So here we can see that the Green Party has the largest number of votes, 305,452. So we give the Green Party an additional member seat. We divide their vote by 2, 1 plus the number of seats they've already won, and we then proceed to the allocation of the second seat. At this stage, we see that the Liberal Democrats are now the party with the largest number of seats. So we give them an additional member of seat, and we then divide their vote total by 1 plus the number of seats they've already won, in other words, by 2 in their case, and we then proceed to the allocation of the third seat. We look at the distribution of the votes at this stage. We see at this stage that the Greens this time, again, are the party with the largest number of votes. They've got 152,726 votes at this stage. So we give them an extra seat. We divide their vote total by 1 plus the number of seats they've already won, so by 3 in this case, and we then proceed to the allocation of the fourth seat. Look at the distribution of the vote at this stage. This time we see the Conservatives are the largest party, so we give them an extra seat. And since the Conservative Party already has 6 seats, we divide their vote by 7 at the next stage. look at the distribution of the votes at that stage, and proceed to the allocation of the fifth seat. And so we continue until all the 11 seats are allocated. And if we do that, what we see is that the Conservatives get 4 additional seats, the Labour Party gets 2 additional seats, the Liberal Democrats get 2 additional seats, and the Greens get 3 additional seats. And so if we look here in the last column at the overall number of seats won by each party, the Labour Party ends up with 11. The Conservatives end up with 9, the Liberal Democrats with 2, and the Greens with 3, I should say, for the total of 25 seats. So what you can see as a result of this process is that because in allocating the additional member seats, parties' vote shares are parties' vote numbers, I should say, are discounted by the number of seats they've already won at each stage of allocating a seat. And since the Labour Party won such a large number of constituency seats as compared to the other parties in 1991, you can see, if we go back to the first slide, the slide showing the first stage in the allocation of seats, their votes are discounted by a very, very large number, 10 in their case, whereas in the case of the Greens and the Liberal Democrats, their votes are not discounted at all because they're divided by just 1 at the first stage. So when it comes to the allocation of the first seat, you can see that the Labour Party's votes are discounted by a very, very large amount. They go down to just over 98,000, and so count for very little as against the Conservatives' votes, whereas the Liberal Democrats' votes and the Greens' votes count for much more. They are discounted by much less. So the moral of the story is essentially this. Since Labour is likely to do so well in the constituency ballot on the 2nd of May, possibly taking all 14 seats in that ballot, to prevent the Tories getting seats in the additional member ballot, it's essentially to vote tactically in that ballot and to vote for another party other than the Labour Party, and ideally to vote for the Rejoin EU Party, because the Rejoin EU Party is not actually fielding any candidates in the constituency ballot. Its vote will not be discounted at all, and so consequently they will count for a great deal in the additional member ballot as compared to the votes cast in that ballot for the Labour Party. And in fact, with as little as 5% of the vote in the additional member ballot, the Rejoin EU Party will be able to pick up at least 1 seat. Now, that may not sound like a very great deal, but it would represent a great start for the struggle to rejoin the European Union, because it would help break the conspiracy of silence surrounding the damage caused by Brexit on the part of the main parties. It would give us an important platform from which to build the campaign further. The result would attract media attention. It would send a clear signal that a growing number of voters were embracing a European identity, a commitment to the principles of internationalism, a commitment to the idea that we need to grow democracy beyond borders if we're to have any hope of solving the problems like climate change, the digital transition, trade, security, and all the other problems of the 21st century. So please use your additional member vote for the Rejoin EU Party in the London mayoral elections on the 2nd of May. It's not a wasted vote. It can be used to great effect to stop the Conservatives picking up seats in that additional member ballot, much more than can a vote cast for the Labour Party. So if you're on the left, you're pro-EU, please vote for the Rejoin EU Party in the London Assembly elections on the 2nd of May. Thank you very much for your time in listening. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you very much.